Does anyone have a question? People keep telling me about the changes that are taking place inside themselves. And it's such a good thing because, change is movement, and change really demands that we grow inside. We become, vaster inside ourselves so we can absorb the changes and allow them to become practical in our lives. And I've said it, many times, I'll say it again. Spiritual meditation is really a waste of time unless it becomes a practical way of living, something we can apply to our day-to-day life. And as we change inside, it demands a much deeper inner work, something that taps an energy that's higher in the universe, more knowledge, more wisdom, greater ability to distinguish between what's real, what's an illusion. And the changes are wonderful, because otherwise people just stagnate. They just get so used to the way they're living that it becomes habitual and it really stagnates. And the energy is like a stagnant pool of water, it begins to attract not a fresh, alive, creative flow of life, but it begins to attract a great deal of negativity. So changes are very important. They make demands on us. And I think they're very healthy demands, because, there's no limit to the amount of knowledge in the universe. There's no limit to the amount of wisdom that we can absorb inside ourselves and learn how to use in a very practical way in our day-to-day lives. And the only limitation is us. We create the defenses, we create all the barriers and obstacles that this vast spectrum of wisdom and knowledge wants to enter, and we don't have room inside ourselves for it to enter. So we have to change. And this meditation is really about that. It's about creating change in oneself, taking a chance, opening in a much deeper place inside. And you can't push your way through that door. You actually have to relax your way through that door. You have to allow it to open. You have to keep building the inner strength that enables it to open. And when it opens, I wouldn't say the floodgates, but I would say it is just an opportunity to tap a vast resource of creative energy, a vast resource of knowledge, wisdom, of so many things that make life more interesting, and so many things that really demand that we as human beings, have to really grow inside and open to a higher force of energy in the universe. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? And change is really never really easy. Change means we have to let go. We have to let go of habits that we have lived with most of our lives. We have to let go of things that have structured us and demanded that we function in only one way. We have to let go. Without letting go, understand, change doesn't happen. That's a human being's responsibility, letting go. And how do you let go? You don't just let go. You've got to build a system inside that enables you to let go. that's strong enough to deal with the changes that take place. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? Okay. We had a very powerful retreat last weekend. It was really something. And, it took me 4 days to recover from it. I was so tired. I could barely do anything for 4 days, just, recovering, healing, building myself so I could absorb everything that took place in that retreat. There'll be another one in April, sometime in April, middle of April, probably, April 10th. And, there's still space available. If people want to attend, you're very welcome. I hope so, because it's basically the most powerful thing I do. And it's something that demands an inner work, that I sometimes think it's almost impossible for me to do at this point in my life. And yet the demand is wonderful. It really forces me and the people that attend to open to a much deeper space inside themselves. If you want to come, let Jennifer know, let me know. Be happy to have you. I think there's room now for about 8 more people. Does anyone else have a question? And another thing, look, if you can't afford it, then you want to make arrangements. I also do layaway here. If you want to make arrangements, to pay it out over a period of time, I'm happy to do that. Anything to make it possible for people to attend. I have to receive some kind of reimbursement because I got rent to pay. I got, all kinds of expenses. But if you want to say pay, $100 a week or whatever, there's no problem. I'm very negotiable. And my whole point is I want to make it possible for people to attend. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, then there will be meditation this evening. Pat Fay will teach. And the next class at this time will be on Tuesday. Also meditation tomorrow evening. Thank you. God bless you all. And have a wonderful weekend, Sunday. Everybody in Israel, be safe. You have my hopes and prayers, and and hopefully all this stuff will end quickly. So God bless you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're
Thank you, Stuart.
welcome.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.